How's everybody doing? Welcome to another awesome math video about adding integers. So if you haven't watched the adding integers through modeling, you should watch that first before you start this one because it's a very important video. But today we're going to talk about adding integers and getting into the hows and ins and outs of all that fun. Do you guys know why why koalas aren't actually bears? They just don't meet the qualifications. Let's go! All right, qualifications, you get it? All right, today the goal is to demonstrate an ability to add two integers. So we're going to have two integers. Remember, integers are positive and negative numbers. They can't be fractions. They're not decimals. They're not any kind of fancy stuff. It's -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, as far as you can go. And the same on the other side with the positives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that little guy in the middle called a 0. So that's what we're going to try to do today. Okay, so let's talk a little math lingo. This will help. All right, so really pay attention to how I'm wording things, because if you can word it this way, it will definitely help you with understanding all the different operations when it comes to integers. And this is a really hard topic. I've been teaching math for a long time, and integers always becomes one of those things that's a challenge for some kids. So I'm trying to break this down in a way that you will really understand it, so you can be one of those kids that rocks out integers. Okay, so when we are dealing with integers, we do not use a negative sign. We do use a negative sign to show negative numbers. So in other words, if you see a number that is negative, there will always be a negative sign in front of it. We do not show a positive sign for positive numbers. So if you do not see a sign in front of that number, just assume it's positive, okay? So we do put the negative signs, we do not put the positive signs. For example, this would be -3 plus -2, because right in front of each one of them is a negative sign. This would be +3. We wouldn't say it that way. We would just say 3 plus a -2. And this would be -3 plus 2, okay? And this would be ridiculous looking, wouldn't it? If we put +3 plus a +2, no, we would just say that would be 3 plus 2. We just don't put the positive signs in there, okay? Now, when I say the signs are the same, you're going to hear me say that a lot. Are the signs the same or are they different? When I'm saying the signs are the same, I'm saying that each number that we're dealing with has the same either positive or same negative sign, okay? So for this first one, we have 3 plus 2. So the signs are the same because there's nothing there and nothing there, which means they are both positive. So the signs are the same. This one has a -3 plus a -2. So those signs are the same. Both of them are negative, okay? If I say the signs are opposite, then that's what I mean. One of the numbers, this would be a -3, and this would be a +2, okay? So they are different. One of them's negative, one of them's positive. Same thing down here. This one's positive, and this one's negative. So they have opposite signs, okay? You just need to know that as we're going through dealing with integers. Okay, so here's a scenario 1. And I want you thinking about this as, how can I find a pattern or a rule for how to solve these? So addition scenario 1, the signs are the same. So are the signs the same here? Yes, I have a +5 and I have a +2. So really I just have 5 plus 2. And if the signs are the same, just add them and keep the sign. So this is 5 plus 2, right? This is 5 plus 2, and so that would equal 7. We just add them together. What's 5 plus 2? It's 7. What were the signs? They were both positive, so that stays positive, which means we don't put it there, but that's how that works. All right, same thing. Signs are the same. I have -4 plus -2. All right, so I have -4 plus -2. What is 4 plus 2? Well, that's 6. And if they're the same, we just add them together and we keep the sign. So that would be -6. We add the two numbers together. 4 plus 2 is 6. And since they were both negative, which means they're the same, the answer is the same. It's negative. Okay, now these are addition rules. When you get into multiplication, division, and stuff like that, it may change up a little bit. So really focus in on this is all things addition. Okay, so now here's addition scenario number 3. The signs are different. Okay, if the signs are different, this is addition rule number 2. What was addition rule number 1? If the signs are the same, just add and keep the sign. Addition rule number 2 is the signs are different, subtract them. So the first thing you do is subtract them. So what is, we have an 8 and we have a 3. Don't worry about anything other than that. We have an 8 and we have a 3. So what is 8 minus 3? It equals 5. That's the first part. Then we go back to that handy dandy thing called absolute value, because this will tell us, is it going to be a positive or a negative? And what we do is we look at both numbers I just dealt with. So I have an 8 and I have a -3. The absolute value of 8 is 8. 8 is 8 away from 0. How far is -3 away from 0? It's 3 away. And so whichever one of these is bigger, 8 is bigger. 8 started as a positive, right? It wasn't up there, but 8 started as a positive. So that means our answer is positive. So you find the absolute value of both. Whichever number is bigger, in this case it was this one, we keep the original sign, which was positive. All right, let me erase some of the stuff off the screen. So the 8 is larger, right? So the 8 was larger, so the answer is positive because the 8 in the original problem up here was positive, all right? So the answer is +5. Let's look at another one. Uh-oh, signs are different. So we must be going to rule number 2. If the signs are different, we just subtract them. So you take whichever number is bigger, 9 is bigger than 6, and you take 9 minus 6 and it equals 3. We're almost done. All we have to do is figure out, is that going to be a +3 or a -3? And how do we do that? We take both of our numbers that we started with. We take the absolute value of 6, which is 6, and we take the absolute value of -9, which is 9. Which is bigger, this or this? Well, you guessed it, 9 is bigger than 6. So that tells us the 9 is bigger, so we're going to keep that -9. 9 is bigger, so we're going to keep that negative sign. So our answer is 3. We had the 3 here. We write it up there, and we keep the sign of the bigger absolute value. That's it. That's the 2 rules you deal with when you're dealing with addition. There's only 2. All right, so here we go. It's either the signs are the same or signs are the opposite. All right, so these two, -7 plus -10. Signs are the same. So what do we do if the signs are the same? If the signs are the same, we simply add the 2 together. What's 7 plus 10? That's 17. And we keep the sign, -17. Let's see what the next one shows us. We have 2 plus a -10, which can also be written like this, 2 plus parentheses -10. So you ask yourself in addition, are the signs the same? No, I have a positive and a negative. So I go to rule number 2. And rule number 2 tells us to subtract them. So I would take 10 minus 2, and that equals 8. So our answer is going to have 8 in it. Now we just need to figure out if it's going to be a positive or negative. So we take the absolute value of 2, and that is 2. We take the absolute value of -10, and that is 10. Which of these is bigger? Boom. Where did we start with that one? With a negative. So our answer is -8. Guys starting to get a flow for this? Ooh, it's a big one. Are the signs the same? No. Signs are different. So we're going to go look at this in subtraction. So what's the biggest number? So we take 328, and we subtract 150. Okay? 8 minus 0 is 8. 2 minus 5 I can't do, so I go next door and borrow, bring a 10 over there. So 12 minus 5 is 7. And then 2 minus 1 is 1. So my answer is going to be 178. And then I look at each one of these and say which one of those is going to have a larger absolute value. Well, you guessed it. 328 is a lot farther than 0 than 150. So this one is going to have a larger absolute value, and this one was negative to start. And so that makes my answer negative. That's it. That's all it is to do with adding integers. If the signs are the same, we keep the signs and just add the 2 numbers together. If the signs are different, subtract them and keep the sign of the bigger absolute value. That's it, y'all. Pretty simple. Okay? How do you throw a party? Like, let's party right now. How do you throw a party in outer space? Let's go. How do you throw a party in outer space? Well, it's pretty simple. You just plan it. That's a play on words, y'all. Plan it, like PLANIT. Like, I'm on a planet, but in outer space, they're called planets. So I shouldn't have to explain these things to you guys. This is just bye.